The RCF NXL14A is here. It is redefining what people thought was possible from a portable column speaker just like this. But a lot of people are asking, will this speaker replace point source speakers? Some of the most versatile speakers out there. I decided to put a demo together and put my thoughts together to go over exactly that question. Does the NXL14A replace your point source speaker? We're gonna go through it all and dive deep. Are you ready to do it? I am. We're gonna do it right now. Coming at you as always from the lovely DJs Guru studio, and today we're gonna take a deep dive and look at the RCF NXL14A and compare it to point source speakers, and specifically the ART932 point source speaker from RCF. Before we dive into the comparison and going through each speaker, make sure you're checking us out at thedjsguru.com. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. Also, consider subscribing. We'd love to see you back here again. And if you're interested in a purchase, make sure you check us out at djsupplystore.com. I've got RCF plus a whole other bunch of great items for you to choose from at djsupplystore.com. So we did a side-by-side comparison. People love those, and I always enjoy doing it that way because you can really get a gauge as to what is different about one particular item versus another. Before we dive into going into our demo and I show you exactly what we're going to hear, first I want to talk about the NXL14A and exactly what it is. So this is a column speaker. What you have here is a very compact design. This comes in at about 28 pounds, made of a wood design. And what you have is you have two 6-inch woofers, which makes it much slimmer and sleeker, and a 1.75-inch compression driver in there, which gives you very similar output and a very similar specification to most of the ART series speakers and a lot of other point source speakers out there. This really is extremely lightweight and small. The look of it, the aesthetics of it are absolutely gorgeous. And in a world now where a lot of systems and a lot of people have went the direction of column systems, you still get that column look with a dynamic sound of a point source type speaker. But there are some differences, and I thought the best way to go through these differences was really just to put them side by side. I had an opportunity to go into a school gym where sound goes to die. I thought it was a really good place to do a side-by-side test like this to see really how much can I get out of this NXL14. I went into this kind of expecting my ART932 with a 3-inch compression driver, a single 12-inch woofer, to maybe be the better tool for that type of environment, but I did want to see what the NXL could do, and we're going to go on location now. So come on, let's go. All right, everybody. So I am where sound goes to die, and I think this is going to be one of the best places to do an audio test of these speakers. I'm going to put up the ART932 versus the NXL14. The last several years I've done the same event and I've used just two ART932s. This year I'm going to do one ART932 and I'm going to do one of the NXL14s, but I'm adding in that incredible sub 15AX. I've tested it just a little bit already, and I can tell you already I'm super impressed. So just want to give you an idea of what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to do a couple of quick tests while the room is empty here before everybody gets here, so you can kind of see what we're dealing with. I mean, this is a school gym, like I said, where sound goes to die. You got incredibly high ceilings, you've got a lot of space to fill, and we're going to see what we can do here with these two speakers and one 15-inch sub. All right, so my first test, I'm going to do the NXL14 and the sub 15AX, one speaker, one sub, to kind of see what the difference is going to be versus the ART932. So let's see what it sounds like. Here we go. Now I don't have it turned all the way up. I don't want to be obnoxious where I am right now, but just trying to get an idea of what the difference is going to be. I'm a good 35, 40 feet away right now. Sounds really good. I definitely have a lot more headroom than I could go, but I'm just trying to get an understanding of the difference between the two. The sub 15AX, I will tell you, is very deep, really powerful for a single 15 that I'm rocking right now in a room like this. I can still feel the bass, and I am, like I said, about, I don't know, what would you say, 45, 50 feet away? Definitely not obnoxious, which is good. RCF always crystal clear, very ear pleasing sound. All right, so I'm gonna do the same song here, and I'm gonna do the test with the ART932. Here we go. All right, we're gonna do the same song, same volume level, and we're gonna do the ART932 now, go about the same distance and see what we're dealing with. Ready? Here we go. Ooh, hit the cue there, not the flag. Here we go. I'm going to move over a little bit this way. I'm a little bit more in the line of sight of the sound. Not the same distance as I was. The security guards are here, yucking it up, getting in the way of my review. I'm interested. Let's try another song. I'm going to juice it up a little bit more because I definitely have headroom to go. And we'll try the ART932 first this time. And what I will also make point of, the ART932, because of the way it sits, ART932 is up a little bit taller, and that's going to throw it, you know, a little bit farther because it is up a little bit higher, but just want to keep things consistent. It's a scientific test here, right? So I want everyone to know what all the information is. Here's my daughter. Here's my daughter. Hi, sweetheart. All right, my daughter came, and we're going to do the review with her. Why not? This is real life stuff here we're doing. All right, so I got more sound. I mean, one speaker and one sub 15AX. This is very impressive, right? There's nobody in the room except for the few people I've seen. Pretty crazy. Mr. S is there. He's rocking it. But sounds really good. I want to just do the same test with the NXL14 and we'll see. All right, NXL14, same song, same volume. Let's see what we got. I gotta tell you, this NXL14 is very impressive. Very impressive for the size. And I'm about the same distance as I was. You guys can take a listen. Look at the kids over there, it's starting to fill up, so I don't have much more time. I would say it's a little bit more on the NXL14. We've got smaller woofers, but there's more of them, right? Versus the ART932, we got a single 12, 3-inch compression driver. It's a very nominal difference, though. If there is a difference, it's very small, and you have to consider what you want to bring out to a gig. They're close in price. One's a lot smaller, much more convenient, much more portable, and I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. I'm going to give you my thoughts after I do this whole gig. We'll rock it with all the kids here, and maybe I'll come back during the event if I have some time. All right, I think it's really important to feel the microphone because I was really impressed so far by the microphone, so let's hear it.
And ladies and gentlemen, now walking into the arena, the Red Devils!
For a little box, this thing is definitely impressive. All right, so far so good with these, and I'm pretty far away now. I've got both speakers playing, but I can still feel the bass. And I will tell you that they put me at the end of the room there, but I'm towards the other side. Yes, we're playing Grease. And you still hear everything. It's very, very clear. I still feel a little bass, not completely at this point, but I hear it. And I will say that so far I'm pleasantly surprised with the NXL14 compared to the 932. The big thing, like I said before, that I was impressed with, not expecting, was the output on the vocals on the microphone. And this is not a professional MC, he's not holding the mic right, anything like that, but it's picking it up really nicely. and everyone seems to be able to hear everything in a really big space. So, all right, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're back, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Got an opportunity to demo these, put them side by side, and like I said earlier, where sound goes to die, a school gym, it was a high school gym. I mean, sometimes you can bring in so much more sound and it doesn't even make a dent. So I will tell you that I was pleasantly surprised by the way that the whole system performed. But first I want to talk about the NXL14 and let you know exactly what my experience was. So first thing is, this thing is super compact, weighs 28 pounds like I mentioned earlier. So getting it in, getting it up on the speaker pole, making it work was super easy. And that was something that I thought was a great advantage right from the get-go. I got my ART932 up as well. And as you saw in the demo, I started to do one at a time, kind of hearing the differences between them, and I'll go into the ART932 after. But first I want to tell you a little bit about my NXL14 experience. So number one, I was extremely impressed. I kind of went into this with the assumption that the ART932 was going to perform a little bit better. It's got a larger compression driver, it's got the single 12-inch woofer. And when you put a small column speaker up against a speaker like that, you have to assume that this is probably going to do a better job. But I will tell you that I was pleasantly surprised. The NXL14 really cuts through the mud of a big space like that. It was very directional as far as the sound, but that 100 by 70 degree coverage pattern did kind of make it balanced as well. So the sound of the music coming across there was very even, very crisp, very elegant, and having those two 6-inch woofers for me made a difference because it kind of spaced it out a little bit. It wasn't as direct as far as the overtness of the music. It kind of came at you more in a way where it was massaging you versus kind of punching you in the face, right? So I will tell you that NXL14 definitely took the cake for me when it came to setup, moving them around, and then when I did get it up, I was extremely impressed with sound output, with the quality of the sound, and I felt it was very, very elegant while still being dynamic in the sense of sounding like it was a point source speaker, which it's not. One thing I'll also address, which I think is really important, and I do show this a little bit in my demonstration, but it was a lot of microphone announcements, and that's something where anyone who's used a portable column array system like an Evox 12 or an Evox 8 that has a bi-amplified system has probably experienced at a certain point your microphone does not project as well when it comes to column arrays. And that has a lot to do with the way that the sound disperses, but it also has a lot to do with the power and not having an individual amplifier for your bottoms and your tops. With a portable column array system, you have an amp in the sub that's powering the column array, and at a certain point you're going to lose, and a lot of times that comes down to microphone output. With the NXL14A, the microphone really pierced through. They had me in a corner where I was covering the entire gym and everyone was able to hear the announcements. I did go out there throughout the event to listen because I wasn't always the one talking on the mic. And I'll tell you that I was really impressed with the way that it performed. So microphone announcements, having them project over a dance floor to the guests that are sitting in the back of a room, definitely can handle that. One thing I will say that, you definitely are going to have trouble doing with the NXL14, and where it does have somewhat of a drawback compared to what I have here is the ART932 for point source. You're not going to be able to use it for a stage monitor. Maybe you could, but you're going to need something to rest it on, right? So for bands and musicians out there that are looking for an all-in-one solution where they can use it for their output speakers or as a stage monitor, the point source style probably will be more versatile for you if you're looking to have everything match up. However, where it does have the advantage, in my opinion, is if you're an integrator, if you're looking to permanently install a speaker in a nightclub, in a bar, in a lounge, in a retail or commercial environment, NXL is going to be excellent in that application because it's very small, it's very lightweight, and it can be hung horizontally. You can turn the direction of the compression driver to give you a better wave pattern and to give you the coverage that you would have expected when you used it vertically. Point source speaker is going to be a little bit more difficult to do that with. Plenty of people have integrated point source speakers, but they're not necessarily designed for that application. They're bigger, they're bulkier, and they're going to look kind of funny hanging up versus something like this, which is going to look more traditional to what you would find in a commercial environment. So that's the NXL14A. I will tell you, I was really impressed with the performance of it overall. The SPL on the NXL14A is 128. The ART932 is 132, and I'll kind of segue over to the ART932 to give you my experience with that, and you might have been able to hear it somewhat in the demo that we did. I did go into this review thinking this was going to outperform the NXL14. It's at a lower price point, but it does have a larger compression driver, has basically the same amplifier in there, and although it's not made of wood like the NXL, it does have a very well made, durable ABS molded box here. Looks great and has the wedge design, which we'll talk about in a minute. ART932, if you've never heard or experienced this speaker, I think is one of the best speakers out there in the price range as an all-in-one kind of versatile speaker. You can use this speaker for weddings, you can use this speaker for Sweet 16s, you can do outdoor events. If you're a band or a musician, you could have no problem handling stage situation outside where you're doing a lot of people. Very versatile in that sense. Because it has the wedge design, it could be used as a stage monitor. I don't necessarily know if you need a 3-inch compression driver for a stage monitor, but you could do it and absolutely use it for that application. And at a lower price point compared to the NXL14, the ART932, I think, might be more versatile. Where are the drawbacks? The drawbacks are it's bulkier, right? It's larger, it's a little bit more like a square. In the world of column array systems becoming more and more popular and the minimalistic design, I think the aesthetics on the NXL14 definitely have the edge. But as far as overall performance, as far as bang for your buck, I think the ART932 is definitely one of the best speakers out there. If you didn't own any speakers, I would probably recommend the ART932 because I think you'd be able to do more with it. You'd be able to handle more events with it and get the sound you might be expecting in every single application more with the ART932. And yes, again, it's a little bit less expensive. For point source speakers in general, I think a lot of that holds true, but it does depend on specifically what the components are. There are plenty of point source speakers that I would say are not as good as the NXL14, so you'd have to kind of be in this type of a range. Overall, I would say they were pretty close in almost everything. As far as microphone announcements on the ART932 and that 3-inch compression driver, I was definitely able to get a little bit more distance. I was able to hear it a little bit more clearly as I got farther away, and I think that had the edge there. I think overall the output was a little bit better on the ART932, but on the NXL14, I would say the sound was more pleasant. It was a little bit more elegant. It was tighter, it was crisper. So you absolutely need to pair it with a sub, right? But that's the way I think most people are gonna use it, whether it's the 15 or the 18-inch Sub AX from RCF. If you pair it with the sub, I think that's gonna mitigate any loss that you're getting from the 12 versus the 6-inch, and it separates the sound better to me on the column side. It gives you a little bit more of an ear-pleasing, separated sound, which is really balanced, and because of the dual 6-inch versus a single 12, it's a little bit wider in the way that it disperses. You kind of hear things a little bit more nuanced, and for me, I thought it was nicer in that type of environment where, let's say you're doing a wedding, let's say you're doing, you know, a party where they don't necessarily just want a club-like event. They want to be able to talk to their guests, that they also want party time too. So I think that's where this speaker definitely has the edge. So there you have it. RCF NXL14A column speaker versus point source, specifically the RCF ART932. I love both of them, quite honestly, and they both had their advantages and some disadvantages. I think that if you're, again, looking for the most all-in-one type speaker, point source is always going to have that edge. If you're looking for a more specific speaker for beautiful aesthetics, for really crisp, tight sound, for elegant affairs, I think the NXL has the edge. And if you're a band or musician, you're looking to use a speaker for tops and or stage monitor, point source with a wedge design, the way to go. But also, if you're someone who does installations and you're looking for a speaker that you're going to permanently install or integrate to a commercial or retail or nightclub environment, NXL is going to have the edge. So it really depends on what your needs are, what you're looking for specifically. And I hope this really helped out with your buying decisions out there. So just a reminder, make sure you're checking us out at thedjsguru.com. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. Consider subscribing. We would love to see you back here again. And remember, if you are looking to make a purchase, we can help you out with that too at djsupplystore.com. Give us a call, shoot us a text over there. We're always happy to help. Hope you found this video helpful and hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. As I always like to say, we'll see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.